Hey, Brad and Dan, how's Wednesday treating you?
Scott, thank you very much for the, as usual, eloquent introduction. Brad, how's your audio over there?
I hope I sound good. You're coming through loud and clear.
Beautiful. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for our Q&A demo webinar. This is the one webinar where myself, the CEO, and Brad, the COO, get to really speak to our subscribers, talk to people, give you a feel for what it is, what we do, and what the company is all about, and you're in for a treat today. Before we begin, we always do the standard disclaimer that Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. All the information you're going to hear from myself, Brad, Scott, or any team member at Trade Ideas is only for informational and educational purposes, not any kind of solicitation to buy or sell any securities. And furthermore, all of the information we provide on these webinars are opinions of ours. So please be aware of that and take it for what it is. But we have a heck of a show for you today. This is going to be arguably the most important webinar you've ever been to ever in your life, if you understand what I'm going to tell you, and I think you will. And Brad, buckle your seatbelts, everyone. We're going for a ride. Okay, this webinar is eloquently titled from one of our favorite movies, The Matrix. This is the Glitched in the Matrix edition. And investor neos, new investors with eyes on the market for the first time, your eyes hurt because you've never used them. And what that means is just recently we've come into a once in a lifetime situation where a group of people got together and really disclosed something about the stock market that so many have suspected but never were able to really see or prove the way that we've had it seen. And what it is the battle between the little guys, the individual investors, and of course the establishment, the Robin Hoods, the brokers, the clearing firms, and all these other people that are there to help you manage with your money. And as this slide says, the war is real, and it's time to pick a side, and you'll see exactly what side we're on and what side you should be on as well. But again, this is the longest presentation that I've ever made for the Q&A webinar. Panic on Wall Street, and the reason that there's panic is because they've been busted. So I'm not going to dive into all the technicalities of why they've been busted, but you know what, Brad, from our previous Skype, will you do me a favor and put in a couple of those links on the naked short selling into the chat section? I think it's in our Skype thread.
Yeah, I'll find that. I'll dig it up for you.
Yeah. So what you're finding is that the big guys play by rules that you and I do not play by. They have information that we don't have, and when things go their way, well, they change the rules. Okay, what happened was, in summary, and I mentioned this before last week, but several large hedge funds were betting on GameStop to go to zero. Their research was flawed based on the consensus of millions of individual investors who decided to go against them and simply buy the stock. And what was found out was something very unusual. And as you can see by this image I have, the short float percentage here is over 100. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that, well, that seems weird. And we weren't the only ones to figure this out. It's kind of opened this Pandora's box into the underpinnings of Wall Street, and the fact that, going back to the previous slide, you've got to take a little bit of the red pill, because it turns out they haven't been really telling us the truth. So partly I'm showing you this because you'll see from later slides that this stock, GameStop, is really like the beacon stock in play for this movement that's happening right now. And it is because, number one, these companies are saying that they actually got out of this trade, but it looks like from their activity in the options market, they not only did not get out, but they may be doubling and tripling down. These guys don't like to lose money. So this is very important for you, because as you become an active investor, you have to understand how the market works. Well, what happens to your market order? What happens to your limit order? And individuals started to dig around a lot more, and they found out that there's a lot of stealing going on. The panic on Wall Street is a philosophical battle that's been going on for ages, but for the first time, it's really visible and it has visible counterparties. On the one hand, you've got the brokerages like Robinhood who take their orders from their technology provider, order flow provider called Citadel, and others, from large hedge funds called Point72 that are run by a guy named Steve Cohen, who's worth about $14 billion, who funds another hedge fund to get short GameStop called Melvin Capital. And these people have been short and short and short, and so much short that they were short every share that there was out there. So the investors got together over a Reddit subreddit board and realized through just the communication of viral information spreading that there was a lot of cheating going on. And so what you're seeing now is a battle of David versus Goliath in the stock market. And as myself, having been a stock market participant for over 25 years, I've never ever seen this battle happen the way it is right now. And I suggest at the very least, the reason you're at this Q&A webinar is just to be aware of what is going on because it's critical for everybody. Bang versus Fang. Brad, did you even go through the slides? This stuff is good.
You know, there were so many slides that I did not even get to this page right here.
Okay, so as you kind of guys, please, ladies and gentlemen, you have to have some humor here, but I want you to understand the power of what's happening, and that's why I'm illustrating it, not with stuff I've made out, but with information I gleaned right from the source. Bang versus Fang. For all of you that don't know what Fang is, it's Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. That's the favorite group of stocks of all the private equity firms and the venture capital firms and all the investment bankers, and they've been riding those since 2010, or basically when Facebook went public, or Google before them. And so what you're seeing here is just this beautiful stream of consciousness, and then the reason I'm explaining it to you in this Q&A webinar of trade ideas is because it really shows you how passionate, and there's over 9 million people in this subreddit, how passionate these people are and what they think. This isn't about just a trade to them, okay? And when you can know this information, it's going to help you as you're analyzing what's going on and trying to figure out what is your best move. So this group looks at these stocks as their bang stocks, and they have their own completely different subculture that, again, I'm not going to get into the linguistics of, but if you go there, you understand that it is the little guy, and this is how the little guy feels. They're not in it for, you know, a quick trade, okay? This is much more important to them. So, you know, I hate doing stuff, Brad, that when I just tell a story and I don't even know anything about it, I like to do research on my own, guys. So, Brad, this morning, and you got to really be entertained by this. I wish I would have corrected the upper border of my slide picture. But as you guys know, part of what I do at Trade Ideas is I also R&D the product. As a CEO, I'm still one of the top end users of this whole technology because I've been using it from its inception, and I continue to take it to places where others sometimes don't go because I have a good imagination. But needless to say, we actually connect, of course, to trading. So this is a window of our Brokerage Plus software. Now, what I'm pointing out here is that you can get so much different types of information. Of course, Trade Ideas, our company, we want to show you stocks that are good to trade and ideas that hopefully will be profitable. But there's other information you get. You start to understand a little bit about, well, what's going on with the orders, and can you corroborate any of these hypotheses that are being made on this Wall Street Bets subreddit? So sure enough, as you can see, I've circled in the lower left-hand corner that I have what's called excess liquidity of $7.3 thousand of buying power in an account that's worth $109,000. Brad, I just want you to make sure you understand what I'm saying, correct?
I'm following you, yeah.
As far as I understand, Brad, excess liquidity means that I'm able to purchase, at the very least here, $7.3 thousand worth of equity based on my account.
Yeah, they don't have any margin restrictions and requirements, then yeah, you get 7.3.
Correct. So this morning, and I'm doing this for you guys so that you know, again, this gives you a little bit of a flavor of what kind of people you're dealing with the trade ideas. So we don't like to just talk about stuff. We like to do it. So I'm logged into my Brokerage Plus, Brad, and it's 7:01 in the morning. What do I do?
You try to buy some GME.
How many?
10 shares.
10 shares. So if you and I are just doing high-level calculus math, what's 10 times roughly $50?
I mean, like $550-ish.
Right. And the last time I remembered, $550 was less than 7,000.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, right. But what happened to my order there?
Well, you rejected. It says you didn't have enough
Buying power, basically.
buying power, yeah.
Okay. So you know me, Brad. I don't take no the first time. And guys, once again, love sharing with you real stories. So this is the kind of person I am. So I give this thing, I'm like, all right, well, let me do some process of elimination. I send an order, Brad, literally 10 seconds later for what?
For 5 shares, half of that initial amount.
And what happened?
It's not accepted, same thing.
Right, so I got rejected from my order. So I got done busy doing CEO stuff and preparing for this webinar and lots of things. But Brad, did I forget about it?
You did not you.
So not me. And so about 50 minutes later, I pop in again. And what did I do, Brad?
Well, you tried to buy 5 shares and the price had come down about $5, but that can't be the reason why it let you get filled. So I have no idea.
Not according to math, but what happened there with this math? What's going on here, Brad?
They were generous and they allowed you to fill your market.
I bought 5 shares. I got excited, guys. So rejected, then Brad, I bought 5. Okay, sounds good to me. What happened like an hour later?
You wanted more.
I wanted more, and what happened? Rejected. I said, okay, well, maybe once again, too much. So I said, how about 4 shares? Rejected. So somehow, guys, ladies and gentlemen, think about this. Remember, let me go back to the slides. Whoops. Right here. They've been caught. So we've been talking about, and we've heard that Robinhood and pretty much all other brokers have shut down or slowed down greatly the ability of the individual investor, you and me, to purchase the shares of GameStop. I was very intrigued by all of this, and I proved it to myself that that was indeed the case. And so then I'm showing you, that there's this whole battle happening in the stock market. And this is why we love the stock market so much, because it's not just electronic supply and demand. You can feel things and experience things you otherwise would have never in your life. And there's a beauty to that in and of itself. A real battle of David versus Goliath. And the David here is passionate about what he's doing. To him, this isn't just, a run-of-the-mill thing. He is incredibly passionate and enamored with what's going on. And then as good researchers, we go out there and we prove that there is indeed something fishy happening. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, your inability to add shares when you wanted to, I mean, that really translates directly into the inability of that stock, GME in particular, to be able to go up, because it can only go up if you're buying that stock. And by preventing that, that's abnormal pressure that's being placed on it. That's
correct. So there's this immense amount of pressure that's being put on this stock, GameStop, to come down so that, again, it seems like these big fat cats can exit. And this is just another meme that's sort of explaining the fact that people are questioning where the value of these numbers. How can you be short 121%, or who's even reporting this data? And so as we finish this part of this is kind of like the educational part. Look at what's going on, guys. Look at this landscape that we are in the stock market right now. It has never been seen before. Panic mode. What's happening is that the little guys figured out that the big guy is basically hiding data. We want an overhaul of the data feeds because we should have access to short float information in real time, Brad, right? As well as real prices and all other things that everybody has, and from the tune of freedom of information. And look at what's happening with the exchanges. They are running for cover. I mean, do you like that, Brad? All right, you want to open up our data feed? I think we'll sue you. As it leads to trade ideas, you guys know one of the cool things about our company, why Brad and I are so excited to still be doing this and working here every day since 2003, is the fact that from the innovation point of view, there is no finish line. And so we're able to provide you with high quality info just a lot faster than the other guy. And what do we mean by that? Well, on the Trade Ideas channel bar, and this is again, I'll show it to you in real life, but we have simply curated and created a Wall Street Bets channel so that you can see the big names that are being talked about on Wall Street Bets, as well as other Wall Street Bets related stock information, so that you're clued in to exactly what is going on. So that tells you that from the point of view of how we look at business in general, we try to be very current with what we're seeing that's relevant. And when it's really relevant, then we adjust very, very quickly. We're very proud of the fact that you guys are here on this Q&A, you know, almost 100 people here. And we want to make sure you know where we stand. As a company, we've been standing in the same place since 2003. We've always focused on the individual investor. And we continue to do that today. And we stand against all these practices by the hedge funds and Robinhood and Citadel to reduce market access. We think it's complete BS. And we say it on our homepage when you go there, if you go there, because we never took one red cent of venture capital money. You guys are, our subscribers are really our venture capitalists. Your subscription dollars feed our research and development and all the businesses that we do. We're grateful for that. We want to let you know that you guys are, there's no middleman between us. It's you either like it and you support us or you don't, and you're free to do so whichever way. That's where we come from. So at least you know the direction the Trade Idea stands in the war. Before I jump into the software, just so that you know, this is not our first rodeo. We've been doing this since 2003, and we're pretty successful already, but to the tune of the people that are new to this and don't know us, we've been on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing privately held companies 4 years running, and it's going to be 5. We're doing incredibly well. We're positioned well for all the stuff that you're seeing right now, from more people wanting to invest for themselves because they have more time because of COVID or other reasons, and we're there providing them the innovation. Chris, I love your question about the IPO. You know, like I said, we had originally had some thoughts about it, but right now those thoughts are on hold because of the whole market structure. So if we ever go any of that route, the people that are subscribers will definitely get shares because we love you guys. We would do right by all the people that helped us get to where we need to be. So once again, this is what you're dealing with. And now I'm going to jump to software. Okay, so real quick, ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing here, for people that don't know, is a channel. This is our channel bar, and you can see on, it says Wall Street Bets Stocks. So we are not affiliated in any way with Wall Street Bets at all, or Reddit, or that subreddit, but we're simply tracking the stocks that they track. And they're primarily focused on GameStop right here, AMC, and then various other situational plays relating to things that are either shortable, like meaning that are in the same large short float situation, like Albertsons, which has a short float of 359%, Brad, for entertainment value, and of course things that they're just simply talking about. So Trade Ideas is everyone's weapon against the information of the hedge funds, which is typically some sort of insider dirty information. What we do is we track everything, and nothing escapes our eyes because we're connected to the market data feeds, and we watch everything, and we're specifically statistically looking for unusual behavior in one direction or the other. For example, things like this Sundial Growers, which is a cannabis play, and we'll pop into the cannabis channel because of course we have one, is just one of these things that, you know, is moving in a way that we talk about what's fun about the stock market, where you can have a 78.98% move in one day. And we've talked about, look at GameStop. It went from $26 to $500 back to where it is now, like in the $50 range. And the volatility is incredible. This thing could gap up. Well, we know it's not going lower than 55 because that would be zero, but this thing could gap up certainly back to 300 to 500, and that's what's exciting about it. And of course, similar chart with AMC, and you can also see that there's something different is going on here, and you're seeing that because of this gigantic volume behavior. Whereas before, you know, GameStop was kind of like heading into obsolescence and going away, and then when the news broke about this guy's research on it, it really started to take off virally. And this sell-off, although it's been very dramatic, it's happened on lower volume, and one can almost expect another surge, kind of like what you see here. Okay.
Well, I mean, what you're looking at is a direct result of being unable to buy stock, and that's
exactly
what happened, you know.
Exactly. Well, there's all this pent-up demand, and that's why I wanted to make sure that I spoke to you guys about that most people, when they think about stocks, don't really understand how deep some of the deep dives go, that it doesn't necessarily go up because of some moving average or some stochastic. These things are just old school descriptions, but they typically go up and down because of large imbalances of supply and demand. And when those imbalances are made artificially, oh boy. I mean, this thing, again, you could see prices that you've never even possibly conceived of. Okay. So this is our channel bar, and what's really nice about the channel bar is you can just go down and find something interesting, and you can pick. Like, for example, we have a channel for the SPACs, and the SPACs are a very prominent, powerful new trading method by which companies are going IPO and avoiding the big investment banking fees. So instead of doing the traditional like IPO the way you would heard Facebook and Google and others do, where they ring the bell on the stock exchange, these companies are doing it behind the scenes. They're buying a shell company, okay, and then that shell company merges with the company that's doing the business, the symbol changes, and that's how they become the stock that they become. It's quite interesting in terms of being able to avoid all these fees, where really what is the whole purpose of, you know, of the IPO game. So this is a bypass of that, and we have a channel completely focused on it. Okay, so you're going to find things that are very interesting here, large percentage moves, and we've seen a lot of people have success with this methodology. And when I bring up the Brokerage Plus, which I will of course as well, you'll see that there's just so many ways that you can experiment, especially in our simulated mode, without you ever risking a penny of your own hard-earned money. Okay, lots of different channels for you to choose from. Momentum, just one of the ones that shows you very exciting stocks that are in play. And you can see the moves that we're talking about. And the stock market continues to reiterate the point that I make virtually every single Q&A webinar, Brad, and that is that in terms of liquidity and return on investment, there's nothing that is a substitute, because you're not going to be able to catch moves like this in real estate or other investments that take just so much time to transact. And believe it or not, the fees are much higher. But in the stock market, you know, you can buy 10,000 shares of something like this and play this move completely free and easy, because look at the volume that's been going by, 95 million. So this is not just some sort of penny stock game, or there's no tricks. It is really supply and demand. And Brad, if anything, I think what you said before is so poignant, because not only is there a blockage of transactions in GME, but really they block transactions from everybody, because most people, Brad, don't even have access to their 401k. We're helping to change that over time. And imagine when you yourself can have access to your own 401k money and realize that the experts you're paying all that money and fees for don't really do anything.
Yeah, and they're certainly not looking for this BPTH type of move or any of these really high percentage moves. They're just really looking for safe, riskless places to put your money.
Oh, no question about it. No question about it. And for you guys, you know, you're at the right place, you're at the right time. There's never been a more interesting time because the fundamentals of the market are changing, and they're changing in a way that's beneficial to the individual investor, especially with what happened on that whole Reddit subreddit of Wall Street Bets, kind of opening the kimono and showing how dirty Wall Street really is. Again, lots of different stocks, layouts that we have for you guys, and notice different layouts for different resolutions. So we kind of go back and forth about different things. Some people may want to have a bigger layout, but one of the things that I wanted to make sure you knew was that although Trade Ideas is very powerful, you don't really need a lot of expertise to run it. In fact, all I'm doing here, right, is I'm scrolling once I've turned it on and just hitting the icons, just like a Netflix channel. So this is a channel. And if you want to know what the channels are, you can go to our channel descriptions, and it'll take you to a description of all the channels where you can see what they are, what they do, and as we make adjustments, again, they end up on this little toolbar right there, the little cog. So all this information is there for you, and we've used our expertise, like for example, here's a channel for earnings, so that you don't have to ask the questions like, well, I like trading earnings. Okay, well, this is upside earnings blowout yesterday, downside earnings blowout yesterday, reporting this morning, reporting this afternoon. So we've done it
right there.
I'm sorry, what?
I was saying, just noticing Real Networks had a nice positive gain today and kind of popped itself out.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, look at that. That does look very nice. But this is how this is set up. We've always thought from that point of view that we didn't want you to spend a lot of time under the hood. And although it is very powerful, and I will get into the part of the whole education and curriculum that we have ongoing for everyone to be able to use the software and get the most out of it at whatever level you're at. But I'm just trying to demonstrate right now, because again, we have so many people that have never seen Trade Ideas before, that all I'm doing is simply just scrolling down, picking a channel that I like, and going on it. Like for example, I'll show you the Weed Watchers channel, and that's relevant because Brad, today, look at the percentage gainers because of the marijuana stocks are in play right now. I mean, look at this. Now, obviously, I'm not saying to trade this, and as we said in the disclaimer, I'm just saying that in terms of percentage points, because of these small plays, sometimes you get some of these gigantic moves, okay? And we know this because we have a channel just dedicated to the space, and there's a big thought that the whole cannabis business is going to go fully legal, which again, it may. And again, we saw Sundial on other channels, but you can just zero in on whatever it is that you like, okay? So let me then bring you to a channel that's called Shall We Play a Game? Now, this is a channel that's designed for a window called Brokerage Plus. And I'm going to bring this window in for you. Okay. So let me expand this out. So this is your trading console window for Trade Ideas. If you just want to play around and you've never done it before, bear with me for 1 second here. So my window is open, but you can open it up in either live or simulation mode from the menu bar up here, where you can see where my mouse is. And now that I have this window open, I'm going to go to Connect, and I'm going to show you what's available to you. I have a development version, so I always have the latest things that we're working on in R&D, and you can see there's a lot of that. But I am currently connected to Interactive Brokerage Live, so this is all real live money, and we're going to discuss that in a second. But I can also be connected to our simulated trading account, okay? And on the simulated side, I have some other trades, okay? So this is a combination of both of my accounts, and I can switch between them. This is just my simulated trading account, okay? And these are positions that I've been putting on in simulation mode to test various ideas and thoughts that I have about the market. And right here, this is my live account. And I can easily switch between them. But when you're getting started, there's nothing better than working in simulated mode and getting a feel for what it is you're doing. And this is where our software takes it to the next level. Because we provide you feedback you're not going to get in virtually any other, even broker-dealer, because it's P&L feedback that you're going to need to know that's both visual and, of course, per row where you can see what's going on. But you're not going to get better at trading unless you practice. And, you know, this is something that's common with every endeavor of excellence. Practice makes perfect. It's kind of like one of the golden rules: do unto others. Practice makes perfect. In Trade Idea simulated trading mode, let me show you something cool. So this is my simulated trading mode, and you can see account simulated default. Now watch what happens when I go to my live one. Nothing changes, but just stops. So your simulated mode, look and feel, and the way it responds is identical to what you will be doing in real life mode. This is a key for success. So you're learning this once. You're not learning like on a bumper car and then saying, well, now I know how to ride a real car. No, this is a real car. You're learning all the proper buttons and things that you need. And simulated mode, and the way we give you feedback on simulated mode, including this feature, which, Brad, is it out yet, the calendar?
The calendar is out yet. There's some obviously still enhancements that we're putting in here, like the intraday P&L charts and the updated last day, but that's all coming.
Right, but as you can see, so you're not only just practice trading, but you're getting expert feedback on exactly what it is you're doing. How many trades did you differ from the S&P? You know, what it is that's going on. And you will be able to drill into this and understand.
And you can right now if you click on the number of the particular date on the calendar, you know, where it's 2-1, 2-2, no, upper left corner of each cell.
Okay.
You do that and you can really drill into it. It'll populate another window that you can expand.
Oh, there it is. Okay, see, I just did that. Brad helps me because I haven't used that feature just yet. It's brand new, but here you can see exactly what it is that you did. Love it. And let me just do that again over here. Come on, be sensitive. There we go. Is it a double click button? Maybe that's what that is.
Yeah, it's a double click. I never found it that difficult. As I'm watching you, I'm like, okay,
I was single clicking, but the point is you can see what you did in practice mode, guys. Okay? You can see what you did, why you did it. You can go back and obviously you can click on the charts and then and do further analysis. But the point being is that you have the kind of feedback loop with trade ideas that does not exist anywhere in this industry, because again, we're not only giving you a way to see the data, but of course there is, let me switch channels real quick for 1 second. I'm going to move the Brokerage Plus, but we're going to go to our AI and I'm going to switch the windows up real quick right here, make it easy for you guys to understand. So we have an artificial intelligence that creates a stock idea selection playlist for you and gives you the exact steps on how it would manage it. You can sort it by time. So if we started from the morning, okay, the first trade that took place was 5 minutes after the open, and the symbol was HEAR. I'm going to zoom, maybe time frame, kind of switch it to 15 minutes. Right. So it looked like, from the AI's point of view, that it was breaking out. And again, if you look at the chart, you can see why. And remember, the AI isn't a fortune teller. It's a statistical analysis engine. So like with anything having to do with statistics, that doesn't mean it's correct. It just means that that's what the odds were telling it in this particular situation. But the beauty about what we do with trade ideas, we don't just give you a signal, okay? And remember, these are 15-minute candles. So I was trying to see a good way to expand it, and I will right now, okay? So here we go. So you entered it and it kind of fluttered around, but then it started to come off. And this is what we do though. Okay, we have an exit plan for you to say, hey, listen, this didn't work out. Okay, and the software says, this is where I would get out. And sure enough, Brad, what did it do thereafter? It just continued to go lower, 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 and ended up being quite significantly lower below the stop. This is like a coach. Okay, it's a coach that's telling you, okay, you're doing this good. Okay, this one, this is my suggestion on how to improve. And notice you have a target price, you have an entry price, and you have an exit price. These are the 3 components to proper risk management. Okay. The beauty also is that not only does the software go in the wrong direction, but it also speculates on the downside too. But it's not an evil hedge fund that's trying to take the price to zero. It's simply speculating on downward momentum. And in this particular case, okay, on this stock, look how far it's gone. It has ran up 30 to 55. Most likely, if I was just Brad guessing, doing a little bit of statistical mean reversion type of situation. Yeah, just saying. But here's the beauty of it. Once again, watch what happens, guys. It sold. Okay, this is a short sell. Okay, and then it got stopped out. Okay, fully, I think, right here, once again. But we have an option on the software where we say, if you like to, okay, what it will do is re-enter for you. It will give you a re-entry suggestion. Okay, and here what you have is 10 minutes later. That's this re-entry right here. See, so your initial one didn't work out, but it's still watching the software. That's the beauty of our server-based technology. The first entry at 5207, it still had some of that upper momentum, okay? And so you were taken out right here. And sometimes that happens, but it recovered and started to go back into the direction of the trade, and the software suggested to you that it still looks like it's working. And again, you can see what happened. So this is what makes us so different from every other vendor, is that we have a complete trading game plan built into our technology. Okay, this is all, of course, Holly's a part of our premium offering. She's our artificial coach, intelligence, statistical analysis engine that is doing things right now that, again, no human can do by hand. The software in our server room is calculating past trades from today, learning on how today's information would affect the statistical lineup, and getting ready to play tomorrow morning. And interestingly enough, it does so much number crunching, it basically takes until roughly 4 a.m. Pacific time to finish with all of its work. So that's what you're subscribing for, is this raw data power. Let me bring up a stock that Barry was talking about. Whoops. Can I not type?
No, you can't. CRBP.
BP. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Sorry, you was talking about something else. CGC, yes. Sorry. Well, that was the one that we just did, Barry. We were just talking about the beautiful re-entry on Canopy Growth. Oh, you know what? My bad, Barry. My thing wasn't scrolled down all the way. Okay. So anyways, guys, yes, Barry had suggested that I point this out before. And the software does this on in lots of different ways. So here's a company, eGov, where we got a long entry signal here, and it kind of stuck around with it pretty much the whole day. And then really it sold off later in the day. And that's why we have these levels, right? We don't take chances on trying to guess. We have a mathematical, statistical way to do everything. And when it works beautifully, it works something like this. So here's your sell entry, kind of fluttered around and actually got a little bit below it, but then beautifully proceeded to trade down significantly in the last 3 hours. This is what separates us from all the rest of the vendors. And once again, notice I simply just went to the channel, okay? All of this is pre-configured for you. There's nothing that you have to configure to set up. This is the results of how the various risk management can work in the channel. I think in this case, Brad, it's using 100 shares, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No. You've got it set up to 50. Oh, that right there, yes. On the channel bar, it's using 100 shares.
Yeah, correct. No, on the channel bar. That's all I'm saying. So you can kind of get an idea what the AI is doing. And it's there available all the time. And of course, you can also create your own layout with all the windows once you get a little bit better at using the Trade Ideas software. Okay. So like I said, there's kind of a path to it in the morning. A lot of people come and they start off with the pre-market. Okay, this is where you're going to get stocks that are gapping up, stocks that are gapping down, and of course, all sorts of the pre-market movers. Then throughout the day, you can either channel surf or create your own layout, or get ideas from other people that use Trade Ideas. Barry's trading room, which I'll cover when I get back to the slide. But we do it all. Here's the downside, just to make sure you know that we're not simply talking about the upside. What are the biggest losers today, this month, this year? Just break it down into easy ways you can follow all this information. All sorts of different things. Now that people are starting to realize that the short squeeze is a thing, we have been in here always tweaking and working on this short squeeze channel that focuses on stocks that are just heavily shorted by institutions. And that's what it looks like. When you have a short float of 41% or, another one, similar situation. All of these could be kind of game stops in hiding. And instead of you having to figure it out, we've already done all of the work for you. This tool is very powerful because you can also create your own, okay? Edit custom channels. You can do all sorts of things. You can create your own channels. So these two I created by myself. You can see there's a little line that separates the two. We have a full cloud-based system so that you can save everything to our cloud and nothing is ever lost. You can really log in, go to a different country on your laptop, download the latest client, and all the information is in our cloud. It also makes it incredibly easy for you to share and get results from our support staff. And if you have situations where you're asking questions, a lot of times customers simply send a cloud link to their support representative, and that person is able to just do a couple of modifications, send them a cloud link back, and everything is working beautifully, seamlessly, and takes very, very little time. Okay. Well, we're kind of towards the end of our presentation, guys. So what I want to do is I want to jump back in to the PowerPoint. How are we, Brad, on the questions? I want to make sure. Are we pretty good?
Yeah, I thought we were caught up. Yeah.
All right, sweet. Okay, as you know, that Trade Ideas is amazing, and obviously we think you should have it, but there's lots of different ways you can access our data. And one of the ways that we do it, where we sort of let you investigate and window shop, is Barry's trading room. Barry Anderson, who's also in the chat room today, runs a fantastic trading room with a meritocracy of experienced and novice traders that are always there, at the very least 300 people all the time, pretty much. And they're interacting, sharing links, supporting one another. If you're not sure about anything, you can definitely hang out in Barry's trading room, and you can access it through the link above at trade-ideas.com/trading room. It's a fantastic resource and costs nothing to you, okay? We provide lots of information for you to get various feels for the market. Free ebooks. This one is about earnings, and I showed you the earnings channel that we have to let you know whenever a company is about to report. And this is a good way to to play both ways, and this is completely free. And of course, you can take a look at that at trade-ideas.com/earnings. This is what separates us from everybody. We have a full curriculum based around our software, manned by high-end professionals at Trade Ideas, people with years of experience, not only trading, but using the software. And you can take this education to the next, whatever level you need, from just starting out, complete novice, not knowing what to do, to literally almost writing code, as you can use our custom formula editor to create your own filters. That's how powerful it is. A very good analogy is Adobe Photoshop. You can use it just to import a picture and take a look, but professionals use it to make movies. And Trade Ideas has that power. You are by no means in any way, shape, or form forced to have to learn all of it. It's just that if it's there for your expansion, the product will expand with you. And this is why we're the most successful in this space and why we've been around since 2003. We, of course, as I mentioned before, subscription as a service business. You guys are venture capitalists, and we love you for that. And I say this all the time when I come to this slide. At the most expensive version of our product, it costs $7.50 a day for consumer-facing AI and support like none other. It costs approximately $2,228 a year without any discounts. And if you can't afford that, this may not be the right thing for you. Honestly, if this is the thing that in your mind is the make it or break it, or if you're looking for something free, then I can assure you that you're going to get exactly what you paid for. We are the best at what we do because we have run a successful business for almost 20 years doing it this way, and we've made it cheap enough for anyone to be able to afford who's serious about investing. It's actually quite a discount compared to what people pay for Bloomberg, which does absolutely nothing. But I'm not biased, am I, Brad?
No, you're not.
Right. Now, while I, as the CEO, have been kicked off of all social media and other things related to media, we do lots of media stuff. We have an amazing podcast run by Sean McLaughlin and guests that you should definitely search on your podcast search engine. And please tune in. Lots of very good information that comes out about our software and where the firm is going altogether. And as I mentioned before, while I am, of course, kicked out of all social media, we do have an active social media presence. You can follow us at Trade Ideas, at Quambot, or at Today Trader. Please like us on Facebook, Instagram, and other grams that I don't even know what they are. Please call us if you have any questions, but preferably send us an email. That way you're for sure going to get a response to info@trade-ideas.com. Scott, all yours, I think.
All right. Yeah, I think that covers everything. Stay tuned tomorrow for an email from GoToWebinar with a link to the recording, to the playlist where you can find that recording. And everyone have a nice afternoon. Thanks, Dan and Brad. Thanks, friends.
Thank you, Scott. Take care.
Bye-bye.